Before then, the Cambridge game. First of all, give us an idea now. A real shock announcement yesterday. So, what's the mood been like in camp?
Yeah, I mean, initially, of course, it is this one of shock and surprise. So, the manager wouldn't want us to dwell on it. I know, we all know what he's like, and the chairman said that as well. He'd want us to use it in a positive way, and to galvanise the boys and get to where we need to get to. So. I think we're going to try and use it in that way. That's the message that we've been giving everybody. But pleased to say that managed that his operation, and the surgeon was pleased with it. So that's good.
How do you try and actually use something like this? You talk about it galvanising you together. So how can you sort of use it as motivation?
Well, he, between mainly him and Peter's brother and myself, we got the players here. He's trusted them and. Given them a career, and majority of them were with us last year. So he's resurrected a few careers and made people's lives better. So I think now's the time for them to try and make his life better and easier, and hopefully and help his recovery. I don't think there's any better medicine than a few wins and results, and he knows everything's all right, and then he can, not relax, because I don't think he'll ever relax, but be assured that everything's okay at camp.
Paul Baker said yesterday that it's going to be hard to probably keep him away or not be texting you or phoning you. Do you think he will be, as soon as he possibly can? He'll drop you a text and he'll want to know your thoughts on different games and formations.
Yeah, well, I think results might help that as well. I think if he can see that results are going for us and performances are good, then there's that probably less necessity to. But I know what the manager's like, so I know my phone will be red hot, Pete's phone will be red hot, and I'm sure he'll be in and around as soon as he possibly can. Who knows when that is? First and foremost, obviously health is the most important thing in life, so get that right, and then but if things are okay and we can be assured that we're all doing our jobs properly, then it makes his life better.
Obviously there is a game you've got to get yourselves ready for, and actually after Tuesday you were quite strong in your words in terms of an inept performance. Obviously things have changed slightly in terms of the mood, but how are you then geeing up the players, because you have said some strong words to them? Yeah,
I did, I'm although we're different characters, we are the same in how we feel about the game. We both. Sometimes it's difficult for me to be different to what the manager says. I know you always try and have an assistant and a manager that are different. Sometimes we haven't been. Quite often we haven't been. We tend to be seeing the same things, saying very similar things. After Tuesday, it was one of those I knew found out before the game about. What was going to happen, so it was a difficult one, that game, and it was just one that after the game, I did say some, and I didn't really want to hoodwink anybody, the fans and all that, and maybe I could have been a bit strong at some of the times, but I think I had to get it out, and the fans would have said, what the heck's he talking about? If I'd have said, oh no, we've done it right, but saying that, looking at it, we had more possession than them, but they were more clinical than us. Retain the ball better than us, pick players out better than us. So that's another message to the boys as well, that we're going to turn it around, and we've not dwelt on it because of what's happened. It was a time to look forward, and I think that's the message now. Look forward, get what we need to get to as soon as we can, and everything will be all right.
Do you think the pressure's a bit more on you because you're so close and tight to the relegation, and Cambridge mid-table, perhaps they haven't got quite as much to play for?
No, they'll want to be getting up towards the playoffs. They're not a million miles off that at all. So they've had a great run from where they started the season. They were down with us at the start of the season, first sort of 10 games or whatever it was, 8 games, and they've done really well, and then they played really well against us at their place in December. We know what's expected. We know what we're expecting from them, and we know what we need to do. So, we'll prepare the boys and get ready for it. Yeah.
Third game in a week. Quite a few changes, or do you think you'll try and have a bit of stability?
There will be, it's always hard to assess lads over. Some can handle three games in a week, some not so. Some knocks. There's always different factors that affect team selections, different teams you play against, and how you want to play. So, we've got a good idea, obviously, what we're going to do. So, I don't think you play 3 games in a week. If you play the same team for 3 games, you've got a super fit team, or been super lucky with injuries. They've all played well. So, and you're playing against the same team. But, we'll see what comes up and try and put the best team out.
Fantastic, thanks, Russell.
Cheers, Mark.
Russ, very different circumstances to 2 years ago, but for the second time, the club basically said, Russ, keep us up.
Yeah, the chairman said, yeah, it's over to you. I was like, thanks a lot, and all the staff, like 10 of them were, but no, it was, it is different circumstances, totally different group as people and players, a million miles away from what we were 2 years ago. I've got no doubts that we'll be fine. I just said to the boys, everyone's got to take great responsibility. We've all stepped up, and as I said to George yesterday, we've lost the general in the war, but for the time being. But it's a time for everyone to stay professional, stay focused, and remain on task.
Yeah, before you started working with Gary, obviously been in football a long time, and you're still very much your own man. But if there's one thing that you think you've taken from him since working with Gary, is there anything that you could say that
spot there,
or characteristics? Or
loads,
qualities?
John, probably loads. Yeah. Well, I've got determination. We've all got that. Otherwise you wouldn't be in the game for as long as you've been in. It's difficult to one to say, John. I just think I've picked up loads from him, and I don't want to give anything away really. The organisational levels as well. That was something which was pleasing for me to see at first team level, because I'd done it at youth team level. I knew it was something that I'd want to do, because I think you've got to give the players as much as you can without going over the top, so that they can't come back to you and say, look, well, we didn't know that, and you give them as much ammunition. And they're lucky now, players. We didn't have any of this back in the day. You just went out and played, and you didn't care what the other team were playing, who they were. You had to suss out in the first couple of minutes who you were playing against, and then deal with it accordingly. But no, I've learned loads from him, and probably the one thing I've felt is to keep your sense of humour, keep the place, whatever's happening, keep the place lively, and that's always been. We always have a laugh in there. Whatever going on, we make sure that we enjoy what we're doing, because I think at the end of it, if people enjoy what they're doing, and you see smiles on faces, they're going to do a lot better than if you don't.
Yeah. Do you think the players have responded well to it? Because obviously there's a bit of uncertainty Tuesday. Now they know exactly what the situation is.
Yeah, well, training was great yesterday, as you'd expect. And I think Saturday will be which team, us and Cambridge, has the best reaction to and response to a defeat. We're at home, we've got to take the metal, if you like, and take the baton and go for it, really. So we'll the response was great yesterday in training. Couldn't have asked for anything better.
Yeah, it was a great night against Cambridge last time they played at Wadden Road, and it was Gary's first win as manager, and really good performance in a disappointing end to the season, wasn't it? But that was a good night.
No, we were terrific that night, and that sort of showed there was potential in that team, but never showed it, never gave it, not often enough. And some players that night looked 2 leagues above, and yet in other nights and days they looked 2 leagues below. So there was no real consistency, and I think that's what we've got to get now in these last 9 games, is a consistency, a solidness, and then seize the moment when we get a chance.
Yeah, just finally, Russ, Aaron Downs is coming up to chat to us in a minute, and he's been moving more obviously into the coaching role. So is he going to be there for you if you need him now? He's
around and that, yeah, if we need him. I've said to him, he was on the bench the other day, and I've said to him about being another pair of eyes in the stands and that, coming from a different viewpoint. So, obviously been around in the game a long time, so yeah, it'd be valuable input, however much or however little he gives us, and he's there as a go-between as well between the players, and there's a few senior players that are very, good lads, and we'll be asking a bit more from them like everyone else.
Yeah, brilliant. Cheers, Russ.